and thank you all for coming. There's a lot of activists standing behind me as well who also maybe don't get such the limelight, but they work much harder than I do, to be honest with you, so I was a bit embarrassed by that. When Matt initially asked me to speak, I was reluctant because speaking out is always uncomfortable. There's always, it takes time and it takes energy, and people don't always like what you say, especially when it's on certain topics, like this one. Now, the government did me a favor, and the media, by announcing that they were planning to dim the sun after I had agreed to speak. So it looks a little bit less crazy now, this thing that was impossible only a few months ago. Now, if we start on things that we can all agree upon, I think most people here, perhaps many people, perhaps all people here would recognize that politicians sometimes do not tell the truth. I think most people here, and perhaps all of us, would recognize that the media sometimes lies to us. Sometimes those lies end up taking the form of wars that take millions of lives and displace millions of people and injure them. Sometimes those lies take the form of disease disguised as medication. Some of those lies end up as toxins in our air, in our water, in our food, in our arms, in our hearts, and in our minds. You can come across as many as 6 outrageous lies before breakfast. Some of them are in your breakfast cereal. Now, 24 years ago, the events of 24 years ago caused me to become more aware of the lies I was being told. And I started to want to share that awareness with people, and they did not want to listen. And I became aware that there were other people with other concerns on other subjects that were considered to be taboo and crazy. And I realized that I would be a hypocrite if I did not give those people the same ear that I was demanding of the people who I wanted to listen to me. Now, people are generally reluctant to speak. They're apathetic. People don't tend to shout fire in a crowded theater for no reason. And if somebody did tell you your house was on fire, you would be inclined to listen to them. So we are here today to tell people that there is no smoke without fire, and there are no trails without chemicals. Once I was walking in town in the high street, and I started to notice on the floor, somebody had written in chalk repeatedly, every few feet, "Don't look up, don't look up." I thought, is this what I think it's about? And I kept reading the chalk writing until eventually I found a website. I think it was don'tlookup.com or don'tlookup.org. And it was about the spraying of the skies. And this person who had written in chalk focused my mind, because I'd seen this on the internet and thought maybe that's a little bit strange and crazy. I don't know what to make of that. But the thing is that the truth doesn't necessarily fall on you like the poisons from the sky. It doesn't come from above, from politicians and prime ministers. It rises from the street. It takes the form of stickers on lampposts and flyers left at bus stops and yellow boards on street corners and gatherings like this. So later, one day, a bit like this day, I was in a park sitting on the grass with people that I knew. And I was sitting there watching as a plane left a trail behind in the sky. And somebody saw me and said, "What are you looking at?" And I said, "I'm watching the trail being left by the plane in the sky." And they said, "Oh, you're not one of those people, are you?" Because there's a taboo. There are certain topics that are off topic that we cannot talk about freely. We have to have a conditioned idea before we can go anywhere. Now, the thing is, I don't think that we've been given the capacity of reason and intellect and the abilities of eyes and ears and noses not to use them. So I had been learning. I started looking and reading things, and it not only is this subject taboo, it's admitted at the same time. It's a contradiction. So if you look back, you'll find things like Operation Cumulus in this country, where they flooded Lynmouth in Devon and killed 35 people in an RAF operation where they caused the rainfall and the floods. There was Operation Popeye in the Vietnam War. They have been altering our weather for decades. Not only that, you will find that the US government was putting poison into buildings in St. Louis, in the city of St. Louis, in poor people's apartments, and poisoning them directly. The only thing we're really arguing about with the toxins in our water and our air is the mechanism and the distance from which it's dropped. They even experimented introducing gases into tube stations in the past. So, and if you look as well, as you look further into it, just to get the facts out of the way, the Beijing Olympics, they were spraying the sky to clear the rainfall so that the weather was modified to give them good weather for the Olympics. They do it as a matter of course in countries where they don't have enough rain. Cloud seeding, geoengineering, solar radiation management. These terms are out there. It's an open secret about which we are not allowed to talk. And as you look further, you will find that there are headlines in major press outlets which talk about billionaires' plans to dim the sun. But who are these billionaires? Who are these fat, flaccid men to whom we have to go within the begging bowls like Oliver Twist to ask for more sunlight? Who gives them, what right do they have to deny us our birthright of sunlight? Now, there is a term called reality privilege. There are net zero plans, and there are plans to restrict our movement and have us denied the privilege of reality of the countryside. It makes you wonder whether they're going to add sunlight to this when they lock us in corral us into 15-minute cities where we're overshadowed by tower blocks. Is sunlight going to be the privilege of the rich? Now, these men who do this, they are but men. It's ridiculous, but they have the covetous attitude of the poorest of paupers. They covet earthly goods like paupers, and yet they style themselves as princes of the powers of the air. These slug-like men would corrupt this Garden of Eden and make it of it a hell by meddling with the sky to break our connection with the heavens. That is what they are doing. They are literally geoengineering. The word geo means earth. They think it's within their remit to engineer the earth as though it requires their interference. There is no, it's as mad as one fish denying another fish water. It's as mad as one dog denying another dog its bark or its walk. We have seen, this might seem crazy, but we have seen in recent years that these people have denied people the outdoors. They have denied them sunlight and exercise. They have rationed people to an hour of daylight each day. These things may seem crazy, but we have lived through crazier times. And yet each and every one of us can resist this. Each and every one of us comes from ancestors who have run into hails of machine gun fire, who have run into hails of bullets and arrows, who have faced sword and steel, who have turned back invaders on boats. We have had people in our history, in our lineage, who have enjoyed feast and endured famine. But these people, we have that blood running in our veins, and these people seek to clot it and stymie it so that that spirit doesn't manifest in us. But what can we do? Our challenge is not as difficult in some ways. It's not life and death, and it's not survival. Our challenge, not in the immediate future, it's not survival. In the long term, there's survival. But it may be much more difficult because we are required to open people's eyes and change their minds. We have to get people to look truth in the eye. And the truth is that the weather is being changed and manipulated. And that they are trying to deceive us to believe that this is our fault so that we accept restrictions and imprisonment, incarceration. Our challenge is to speak when we are asked to speak when we are moved to. And it's often difficult, and we're often reluctant, but that's what I'm going to ask everybody here to do today. Thank you.